a bustling city filled with the noise of hurried footsteps and distant car horns, there lived a young woman named Lily. She worked long hours at a local café, serving coffee to tired souls who barely noticed her presence. Yet, despite her exhaustion, Lily never lost her gentle smile. One cold evening, as she was sitting down, she noticed an elderly man standing alone outside, shivering in his worn-out coat. His name was Mr. Harris, a former teacher who had fallen into hard times. Lily hesitated for a moment, then walked up to him with a warm cup of tea. "Here, sir. This will help warm you up," she said kindly. Mr. Harris looked up, his eyes filled with surprise and gratitude. "Thank you, dear. I don't remember the last time someone was this kind to me." Lily sat with him for a while, listening to his stories of a past filled with teaching, love, and loss. She learned that he once had a loving wife who had passed away, and students who had moved on, leaving him with only memories. That night, as she walked home, Lily felt something change within her, a deep realization of how a simple act of kindness could mean the world to someone. The next day, she brought Mr. Harris a warm meal, and soon it became a habit. Every evening after work, she would sit with him and talk. Word spread around the cafe about the kind young woman and the lonely old man, and soon, customers started leaving small donations to help Mr. Harris. One regular, a businessman named Daniel, was deeply moved by Lily's kindness. Inspired, he offered Mr. Harris a place to stay in a local shelter and even helped him find a small job sorting books at a community library. Days turned into weeks, and Mr. Harris slowly regained his spirit. He began sharing his knowledge with the children at the library, telling stories and teaching them simple lessons. His eyes, once filled with loneliness, now sparkled with a sense of purpose. One evening, Lily walked past the library and saw Mr. Harris surrounded by children, laughing and teaching. She realized how one small act of kindness had created ripples, spreading warmth and hope beyond what she had imagined. But life, unpredictable as it is, had one more lesson in store. One winter night, a severe snowstorm swept through the city. Roads were blocked, and the cafe had to close early. Lily, concerned for Mr. Harris, hurried to the shelter where he was staying. To her relief, she found him sitting in a warm corner, chatting with another man. When he saw Lily, he smiled warmly. "Ah, Lily, meet George. He's new here and hasn't had a proper meal in days," Mr. Harris said, patting the shoulder of the frail man beside him. Lily, without hesitation, ran to the nearest open store and bought food for George. That night, as they sat together, she realized that kindness had a way of spreading naturally. Mr. Harris, once in need of kindness, was now passing it on. A year later, Mr. Harris passed away peacefully in his sleep. The news brought sadness to those who had come to love him. But at his funeral, something beautiful happened. People gathered, not just to mourn, but to celebrate his life. Former students, now grown, came to pay their respects. The children from the library shared stories of how he had taught them about kindness and wisdom. Among the crowd, George stood, holding back tears. "He was the first person in years who treated me like a friend," he whispered. "Because of him, I found hope again." And at the back of the room, Lily stood, tears in her eyes, yet a smile on her lips, knowing that kindness never truly fades. It continues in the lives it touches. From that day on, Lily made it her mission to help others, understanding now that even the smallest acts of kindness can create waves of change. She started a community kitchen at the cafe, offering meals to those in need. Inspired by Mr. Harris, she also volunteered at the library, ensuring that no elderly person or struggling individual ever felt invisible again. Because kindness, she realized, is never just a moment. It is a legacy that lives on in the hearts of those it touches, forever rippling outward, one small act at a time.